I'm glad you're here. And let's make a habit of meeting together as the church in any way that we can, finding new ways. And so here we are. Uh, it's so important that as we're encouraged to keep a distance from one another, that we find ways to be close. Christ of St. Stephen's is a community, and we've learned in this whole experience something that we knew all along, that the building is not the church. We are the church, however we meet, wherever we meet. And let's keep meeting. You might ask, why am I the one speaking to you today? Well, in all of this change that's going on, some things don't change. And one thing that doesn't change is the rota of who's supposed to preach on what Sunday. And this is my Sunday. And so here I am. The text is taken from the second reading for the day. Live as children of light. Live as children of light. Alan Kreider is a Mennonite scholar, taught at Harvard for a while. He has a book, The Patient Ferment of the Early Church, The Improbable Rise of Christianity in the Roman Empire. And he argues in that book that it wasn't necessarily the missionaries that helped the church in the first 4 centuries to experience incredible growth. It was the quiet, patient behavior of individual Christians that people found so attractive that they wanted to become Christians too. And so, for example, when people were being trained to become Christians, the catechumens, in their preparation for baptism, it was not so much, what do you believe? Have you mastered the doctrines of the church? That's not what it was all about. The question was, have you changed your behavior, the patterns of your life? Have you changed from the old way to the new way? So, for example, the question was, what is your opinion about the poor? What is your teaching? That's not what the question was at all. It was, have you changed your behavior towards the poor? And Kreider points out that during those times, there were a number of major plagues in the Roman Empire. And something phenomenal happened. And he argues that it was during those difficult times that the church became stronger than ever in its witness. What was going on was that the people fled the cities. They left behind their families. And if you were ill, you were just left there. And a good number of people died not of the plague, but of neglect. They died of starvation. But the Christians, on the other hand, stayed. And they were present. They cared. They took care of their sick. And there was a noticeable difference in the survival rate. And people said, this is a miracle. And it was. It was a miracle. It was a miracle that Christians stayed patiently doing what they needed to do, bearing witness. The early church mothers and fathers have always emphasized 3 things as part of Christian discipline, Christian practices. And we emphasize these things during Lent: fasting, prayer, and good works. Somebody has pointed out that the whole world right now is observing Lent, Christians and non-Christians. We're all fasting, abstaining from social contact. The whole world is observing Lent by prayer, even if it's just a sigh when someone says, oh my God. Because that oh my God is one of the strongest, most sincere, deepest prayers that anybody can give. But what about that third thing? Acts of compassion. Here's where we can make a difference. We can lead the world. I want to suggest 2 things to you. One that you can do right now, today, during this moment. And one that you can do for what is going to be one of the longest Lents that we've ever experienced. For today, I want you to make a spiritual communion. Most of us don't have a priest in the house. And in this house we do. June and I will celebrate the Eucharist, and with special intentions for you and for your communion today, for your receiving of the body and blood of Christ. Remember that the church has always taught that if you cannot receive the sacrament through your mouth, receive the bread and the wine, and we usually were thinking of it because of some illness, but if you cannot do that, you can make a spiritual communion. You can be in communion. You can receive the body and blood of Christ. There's a suggested prayer that you can say today. My Jesus, I believe that you are present in the most blessed sacrament, the one that we receive in church. I love you above all things, and I desire to receive you into my soul. Since I cannot now receive you sacramentally, come spiritually into my heart. I embrace you as if you were already there, and unite myself wholly to you. Never permit me to be separated from you. Amen. The second thing I want you to do is to develop your foreign policy for these next months. Just as you have worked out a new pattern of behavior in terms of social separation and isolation and keeping yourself safe and healthy, I want you to use a guiding principle, and it's the text for the day. Live as children of light. There's so many things that we can do in these months to come. For example, if you're on a fixed income, and we used to say that that was a great disadvantage. I can't do that because I'm on a fixed income. Well, now a fixed income is a real blessing. And if that's your case, then be thankful. If you're on a fixed income, give some money away. If for some reason you get a check from the federal government, give it away. If you're on a fixed income, and if you can do that, do it. It'll make a big difference in somebody else's life. Reach out to your neighbors, especially the people who are alone, people in your building, people who might be isolated and withdrawn. Go to the store for someone. Check in with somebody every single day. Make calls, send texts, even write a letter and put it in the mailbox. Live as someone who has met Jesus and now sees. Read the gospel again for the day about seeing and being blind. You can have clarity and speak in clarity in all of this confusion. You can build community in the midst of all of this sense of isolation. You can be a light in the darkness. Keep coming back. Keep coming back to Christ and St. Stephen's as your spiritual home. Stay in touch, and God bless you.